with just a few comments on last weekend's play, and then we'll open it up to questions on this weekend.
Well, last weekend's play, we didn't play well on offense. We got behind. They made us play left-handed and became one-dimensional, which we don't want to do. This wasn't a good day offensively for us. We just didn't execute the way we wanted to going into the game plan. We just, for whatever the reason, we just did not operate the way we wanted to and the way we had been in the past.
Questions on this weekend's game?
Michael, when you have a loss like that, what do you guys have to do as an offense to reset and make sure that, you guys can become that two-dimensional team like you mentioned?
Well, you go back to the fundamentals. You go back to the fundamentals. You go back to the techniques of what you do, and you just reload and regroup. We know that we're capable of being a very good offense, and when you don't execute like that, then you just go back to your basics. You go back to your basics, and you go back to what you know. You go back to what you've done effectively, and you just get back on track. Sometimes you have a game like that, and it opens your eyes up. It really forces you to get back to who you really are and who you want to be.
When you look at your average per carry in the ground game, it's really good. Because you only had the ball 19 minutes last week, did you not get a chance to use it that much? Do you think you will lean on it a little more, the running game going forward?
Well, we want to run the ball. We want to be a team that is balanced. And, all of our stuff comes off the run game. Our play action passes, our screens, our quick touches, all those things come off of our run game. And, when you don't have the ball that much, then you have to really be effective on third down and things like that. We were not effective on third down like we had been. We had been really good on third down, 55, 56%, which is pretty good. But we didn't do that this past weekend. And when you don't execute on third down, then you don't have the time of possession that you want to have. And so it was just an all-around game that we didn't execute in a lot of areas that we had been good at.
Coach, how would you assess the coach's play last Saturday? It seemed like you really relied on the big play rather than maybe taking what the defense was giving to him.
Well, it wasn't what we wanted to have or what he wanted to do. But like I said, once you get behind and they force you to be one-dimensional, now it's a whole different ballgame. Now you don't run the ball, you don't set up the things that you want to set up, and now you're pushing the ball down the field too much. And then you become a less effective passer. Everything we do starts with being effective on first down. If we can have an effective first down, it puts you in better third down situations, and therefore your quarterback plays better. We had done a really good job throughout the season of doing that. And for whatever reason, this past weekend, we just didn't execute.
Looking ahead to FIU this Saturday, obviously a huge rivalry game. Looking at the film of FIU's defense, what are you looking at? How is the offense going to tackle them and be successful?
Well, like I said, we're going to go back to the basics of what we do. We've got to come off the ball. We've got to be physical. We've got to have efficient first downs. We got to put ourselves in manageable third down situations. We've got to execute in the red zone. All those things we have to be better at this week. And it's more about us than it is about FIU. We're going to study their defense. We're going to put in a game plan that we feel attacks their defense the right way. And then we want to execute the way we know how.
Michael, we've talked a lot about starting fast as an offense, and you guys haven't really been able to do that yet. What do you want to see out of the offense on Saturday to kind of get that fast start?
Well, like I said, we got to put together a good game plan, put together plays that we're going to call early, and then we got to be efficient on first down. And if we're efficient on first down, we feel our third and short, third and medium passing game on third down is real good. And it's hard to stop. And if we can do those things, then I think we'll put together that drive that we want to put together early in the game. But it all starts with us being efficient on first down.
What's the advice given to the team after a poor performance on Saturday? Obviously, physically, you can say a lot of things, but more so mentally. What do you think the advice is there?
Well, like I said before, when you get hit in the mouth the way we got hit in the mouth the other day, you have no choice but to look yourself in the mirror and regroup. And we feel we've got a lot of character on this football team. And we're not going to shy away from the fact that we got beat. and they beat us in a lot of areas. So we've got to come back this week, and we've got to, like I said, go back to the basics. We've got to be physical. We've got to play football the right way. We've got to attack these guys in a physical demeanor, and we've got to go play football the way we know how. We know how to, and we're capable. And you just got to look yourself in the mirror, and you got to come back and you got to play better.
What have you seen on the offensive line, throughout conference play, and what do you hope to see them improve on to start conference play?
Well, they've done a decent job for the most part, except for last week. You know, it was a collective effort this past weekend, but they've done a good job for the most part of run blocking and pass protection, and we're gonna get better this week in that area as well as the other areas of our offense. We're going to be better this week. I have no doubt about that.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Javion, we're trying to close the book on last weekend's performance, so if you can just talk a little bit about this week and the meaning of the Shula Bowl, especially as an MVP from last year's game, and the excitement that goes around rivalry week.
Last week, I think, could have been better, could have been a lot better on all points of the team, offensive, defensively, special teams. I also think the Shula Bowl is huge for FAU. Being MVP last year, I think it's something to build off of going into this week. Just try to do the same and just help my team win this week, bring home the trophy.
Did you understand the rivalry last week, and what did you come away with the feeling of the importance of that game afterwards?
The rivalry of afterwards?
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
Oh, last year. I was just playing, honestly. Just trying to do my best, trying to help my team win in any way possible. And just how we came out with the win, came out on top.
You know, it feels like a long time since the last we played FIU, only just a year ago, though. How do you feel you've improved in 1 year in your game?
I've learned a lot more, better experienced. Just knowing the bigger meaning of the Shula Bowl, knowing that there's an MVP and name goes on trophy and all of that. So I know a lot more, just in general, of the game of football and the importance of this game.
Javion, to be named the Shula Bowl MVP, what exactly does that mean to a player, at FAU, to be named the Shula Bowl MVP, the biggest rivalry game of the year for FAU?
It's pretty cool. I think it says a lot about the player. Overall, just how well they played during the game. But I think it's pretty big.
What have you seen from the offense? Obviously, kind of a fast start in those last 2 games before Air Force, and then you get slumped against Air Force, like I said. What do you see from the offense, and how can the offense as a whole improve?
The offense has improved a lot. Had a lot to improve on this week. Just trying to get better and play better than the previous week.
Javion, you've had a little bit of position switching. How have you kind of transitioned to that role, and how comfortable do you feel in that role?
I transitioned pretty well, I think. Just trying to better my team any way possible. Like I said, just whatever comes at me, just be ready to play and go and roll with it. Just try to help my team out.
You're kind of seeing this kind of like the Swiss Army knife of the team. You can do a lot of stuff. You can catch, you can run, you can throw. How do you feel about having that sort of position on this football team?
I think it's pretty cool. Something a lot of players don't say that they can't do. But I just feel like I have to get better at everything, really. Just try to help my team out. Honestly.
And what's said to the offense? As players, what do you guys say to each other after a performance like that against Air Force?
Just try to encourage each other, try to get better, keep pushing, not to dwell on it too much, but to also know like we have to get better. Just making sure each one of my teammates know that, like not to worry about it too much, but know we have to get better in order to improve.
Anyone else? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
I know what it is, bag tag, an extra bag tag. It drives me crazy. Talk a little bit about going into this week and your first Shula Bowl and some of the expectations there.
Sure. Yeah, just, putting, it was a disappointing performance in a lot of different ways. Certainly didn't do a good enough job putting our players in position for success. And as a coach, that's your responsibility, and everything was just too hard throughout the course of the night. So the plan was off, and we just couldn't get, we just couldn't project the game the right way, and that's disappointing. But that's a unique style. We only see that once and forever. People can't really, I don't think, grasp the intricacies of what they do and how 11 players like that can get that much running space. I mean, it's really kind of, when I look at it myself, it's kind of mind-blowing to see how they do it. But they do it, and they do it very efficiently. So Air Force, had a great plan, and we just, could never grasp the game, and we struggled all night because of it. Obviously, moving forward, this is a good week to kind of turn the page, set our sights on FIU. I think they're a much improved team over last year. Their record certainly is not show what they've done, on the field. I think they've played some really good teams, and they played really well. So they're much more efficient offensively. They're throwing the ball down the field vertically more than they ever have, and they have confidence in what they're doing. So it's going to be a strong matchup, with our secondary guys, and being able to cover. They throw a lot of 50-50 balls, and their players, have made plays. So the quarterback has great confidence in his receivers. And so that'll be a big challenge. And the running back is a very talented guy. So they try to start with the run and then take their shots down the field. So early downs are going to be critical. Trying to find balance and keep the run game contained. We haven't done a great job of playing the run, and I know the Air Force game is totally different than anything anybody else sees. But so we're going to have a huge challenge on our hands, and I think it's good. Our guys have played well in the secondary, and we feel like that's a strength of our team, and we're going to have to play to it. Obviously again on Saturday.
Yeah, just like you were saying, these past 2 weeks are like vastly different. Triple option against Air Force. Is this week kind of like going back to basics, kind of facing off against FIU?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. When you play an option team, there's nothing that carries over. So you have to forget everything you learned. So you go back and just, go back and reestablish some of the things we do defensively, and get back to what we do, our identity and our defense, and get our calls going again. So it takes time. Players, sometimes retention, have to keep repeating things. So the players, it becomes a habit to them, and we're just trying to build on those repetitions and get our players, to play fast and know what to do.
You mentioned the talent of the running back. Is it critical to win on first down, because a lot of what they do down the field is off play action?
Well, a lot of their shot plays come, in early downs. So, they're gonna run some run pass option stuff and try to take their shots, because they know everyone wants to stop the run. So if you commit to the run, then they got one-on-one, with their receivers, and that's when it's very difficult to get extra help in the secondary if they're running the ball on you. So we have to mix things up, try to give our corners some help sometimes, but a lot of times they're going to be, on their own, and they've done it. Our first group has really done a nice job of keeping the ball in front of us. So it'll be a challenge for our corners.
their quarterback is having a nice season as well over there at FIU. What's the game plan of kind of challenging him and making him scared in the pocket and stuff like that?
Well, I think it starts up front with anything. If you can, I thought, as the game went on, they got better against Central Michigan. Central Michigan came out and really put a lot of heat on the quarterback, and then they settled in and, protected him, and he was able to make plays. So, they want to protect the quarterback and let him throw to their big threat, but they still have that ability to run the football because the back is, really a really tremendous player. So, they can run the ball. So they want to start with that and then obviously take shots on early downs, like we said earlier.
This is your first Shula Bowl. Have you gotten the vibe from the players about how important it is to them to do well in this game?
Oh yeah, we went back and looked at last year's game. There'll be some carryover to what we did last year to what they're doing. So they told me a lot about it and how intense it is and being what are we 20 miles, 30 miles from each other. So I would imagine that's a very strong rivalry between the two. So the rivalry games, again, you're going to get everybody's best shot, and we have to be prepared to play 60 minutes and play better, for 60 minutes on both sides of the ball.
Besides the Shula Bowl, it's also the opening of conference play. Obviously, we're talking to Taggart. He says that these past couple of games are almost like preseason. This is where you have to win these games. How important is it to perform well in the first conference play?
Well, I think conference games are, they're the most important. I mean, we're all playing for a championship, and to get in that championship game, you better win a lot of games and certainly get off to a great start. And I think our players are excited about that. We're coming home. We've played well at home. We're going to have to play well in this game. So they know that, and it's a good feeling to be back here. And hopefully, it'll be a great crowd and really, help and inspire our players because, we're going to need to play well. You got to play well if you want to win. You got to play well on defense. So, we have to play collectively as a whole, and if we do that, then we'll have a great opportunity. It's a big challenge, but again, it's a great opportunity. It's how we look at it.
Jordan Helm had a career night last Saturday. Can you talk a little bit about what he's done the first quarter of the season?
Well, Jordan's, he's a very bright, instinctual player that, understands our concepts, has played a lot of football. He's very disciplined in what he does, day in and day out. So he's easy to coach. He loves the game. He performs at a high level every time he steps on the field, and those are choices he makes day in and day out to do the right thing. And a lot of players don't do that. He does it every day, day in, day out. He prepares. If you prepare well, you play well. And he's very, it's very important to him. He takes great pride in the way he plays. And that to me says everything about a player.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Playing in rival school is always a big deal to me. This is a game, this is bragging rights. This is, some of the guys on the team know some players from down there. So, it's like, I wouldn't say it's personal, but then again, it's like, this is a game you want to win. This is a game that these schools go back and forth every year. As far as me, I plan on just having a big game, just going out there and just doing what I do and just playing ball.
Is it almost impossible to overstate what this game means to you guys and the emotion that goes into it?
I mean, yeah, it is, because everybody's excited about this game. That's that school down south, as we say. We don't say the name when we playing them, but yeah, it's very exciting. You can't over prepare for this game. You got to be ready. You got to be locked in, because they trying to come knock our heads off. Just like we trying to come knock their heads off. So I mean, it's exciting to play this thing.
Is it jarring how last week you kind of have to prepare for a different type of offense, and then this week you're kind of going back to what you guys usually see? How has it been like this week compared to last week?
I mean, it's There's nothing, you gotta adjust when you play football. You just have to adjust to different schemes, different offenses. Every week, even every day, you have to adjust to everything. So it's not really crazy, but I mean, then again, it's like, it is what it is. You just gotta be ready.
And for you and obviously in your position group, I mean, what do you want to see out of them, especially in a huge, obviously, shootable rivalry game opening a conference play?
I want to see us dominate at every position, DN, nose guards, D tackle, anything. I just want to see us just impose our will on them. Don't let them get anything.
Their running back obviously is a very good player, and a lot of what they do comes off play action. So, is the hope that you take away that part of the game from them and force them into something they don't do?
Definitely, we know that he is a big part of their game plan. That he always running the ball. So definitely we want to eliminate him, because we know without him, they're not gonna do much. They can't do much especially when you can't run the ball. That's any team, but when you eliminate him, that's our plan, to take him out. To eliminate him from running, getting anywhere he need to go.
And what's the kind of mentality how, obviously the first game of the season and this last game, you guys gave up over 400 yards of rushing. What's something that you want to see possibly maybe mentally from your teammates kind of going into this game?
I just want to see everybody ready to start the run, everybody ready to play all aspects of the game, special teams, offense, defense, anything. I just want to see everybody just locked in and just ready to give them nothing. At the end of the day, they're coming here, they come to play us. And it's always about us, never them. So, we just want to eliminate everything that we can from them. We don't want to give them anything, no points, anything.
Usually this game is later in your time here. This game is later in the year. I mean, to have the rivalry game and the first conference game, does that just add another layer to it?
I mean, definitely. When you always go into the conference play, it's something big on the line. Not just FIU, but this is the championship. It's always something big on the line. But for them to be our first conference game, we want to make a statement to every team in the conference we play now. We're in conference play now. It's about business. We come to take over. We're not going to sit here and not going to sit here and play around with you guys.
And how's it been kind of, being coached by Stoops, and what have you seen from him, especially since the start of the season?
I love his defense. I love what he brings to the table, his passion. He's real. You can tell he really cares about the game. He really wants everything to be on a high level. He doesn't settle for any of that. We see it all the time in practice. We even hear him see it on the sidelines in the game when he come down. He expects a lot from us. He has high expectations for us. So we want to deliver. That's what I'm saying. We want to give him what we got.
Anyone else?